What's up, Porsche fanatics? Welcome to Rennthusiast. My name is Will. If you are here to learn how much it costs to replace a steering rack in a 1995 Porsche 911, you've come to the right place. And along those lines, if you are interested in Porsche 911 content in general, I'd like to invite you to subscribe to the channel. I cover ownership experience stuff with my 3 911s, I cover events, and I cover basically my journey through Porsche culture, so I invite you to join me. So I recently had to replace the steering rack on this 993. Definitely kind of a drag. This repair was not cheap, and I'm going to share with you how much exactly it cost to the penny here shortly, nor is it particularly exciting. I took this car on a very spirited trip into the mountains of Southwest Virginia with some friends of mine who also have 993s. We took our cars up to the back of the Dragon and had a blast. The trip was relatively inexpensive. I ended up hooking up a place to stay at a family property up there. When I got home, I was very enthusiastic about, hey, what a great trip we'd had. The morning after I parked the car in the garage after returning from the trip, I pulled the car out of the garage and saw a puddle of power steering fluid under the car. After I did some quick online research, I concluded that likely the steering rack had failed and ended up calling my mechanic, and he confirmed that was the case. So topped the fluid off and took the car over to Charles and dropped it off. Charles called me back pretty shortly after I dropped the car off, and he had found out that a Porsche OEM steering rack for this 993 would be $4,000. I'm like, there has to be a better way. So he was able to identify a company called Advanced Steering, I think it is. I'll put a link to that company down in the description, but they offer a remanufactured option. And that's the direction we ended up going. So what happens is you order the part and they give you a $1,000 core credit for your your steering rack that's no longer functional, and what they'll end up doing is they'll go through it and reseal it and clean it and sell it to the next guy. So that is the solution that we went with. So I will now share with you that the charge for that part through Charles was $745. I believe that the part itself directly from Advanced Steering is like $695, I think maybe. But he ended up, fairly giving me an upcharge on that thing. So $745 for the part. The labor to diagnose the problem and to pull the old rack out and put the new rack in, he charged me $500 for. So all in, to replace a steering rack on a 1995 Porsche 911, that would be roughly $1,250. But wait, there's more. I love my 993, and that's a very lucky thing because this car has not really been cheap for me to own, to be honest with you. I do think I have it pretty much fully sorted now, but outside of the steering rack, a couple other things I had him do while the car was in the shop. The first thing is I'm getting ready to take this car to Roebling Road here in the next couple weeks to a private track event. I'm very excited to try this car out on the track. I do have track experience in BMWs, but I think this is going to be next level. And while Charles had the car, I had him change the oil, change the brake fluid, just kind of go through the car. He charged me nothing for the tech inspection. The oil filter short, $29.12. Oil filter long, $25.20. The SWEPCO 2050, $92.63. The final thing I'm going to share with you here in terms of money I had to put into this, it actually pissed me off, right? So about a year ago, I had Bilstein PSS10 coilovers put on this 993, and by the way, it's a total game changer. If you have a 993 and you're running stock suspension, which I don't advise, looks like a 4x4 in my eyes, I would strongly recommend you look into PSS10s, but I would also strongly recommend that whoever you have put these in the car know what the hell they're doing, right? So Charles found while he had the car doing the steering rack work that the PSS10, I don't know if it was both front coilovers, at least it was one, I know, it was not installed correctly. So I have been running this car, running it hard on improperly installed PSS10s, or at least one of these was improperly installed. So I'm going to jump over to a video he kindly shot explaining what the problem was and what he had to do to fix it right now.
Hey Will, what's going on? Thought I'd take a minute and try to do a video. That's the shock assembly there, and on the very top it has this piece here. This piece here goes down over the spring, and what it does is that it goes inside, slides down over this collar, and you see it, there's an edge to it, and it goes down all the way on here. What happened is that this piece here was not fitting all the way down onto this piece here. So it was cocked, it was up over here. So right now the springs collapsed, so it's down, makes it a lot easier to assemble and disassemble. But what would happen is that this piece was put on and it slides around the spring there. Typically, you can take and you can pull it down. All right, you see how it goes past that lip and goes down. On this side over here, you can see up there at the very top how there's like an oval shape there, like a crescent. And what happened is that this piece was not fitting down on the shoulder, or sitting up on here and being forced down because when it was tightened up, so that it wouldn't come down and go down to there where it's supposed to. And so that was our problem, because you can see on this washer here how it's got like how the washer looks like there's an oval shape to it, and that's because this piece was off center from this piece and not going down. That should be a perfect line, but it wasn't, because it was offset and like that. So when it came loose on the other side, popped free finally from being pinched, then that's why it looks so odd. So we're going to take care of all that, put it back together. After this piece goes on up here, you have your strut mount up here, and then you tighten it here. And we're going to take and put a couple of washers here to raise that nut up a little bit and get everything centered the way it's supposed to.
So, as you can see, not cool, safety issue, thank God nothing happened, but it also cost me another $450 to get that piece fixed. Basically, to replace the steering rack on this 993, to get it tech inspected and kind of prepped for the track, and to get an improperly installed PSS10 properly reinstalled, cost me $2,493.94. And you know, I still have to get this car aligned, so that'll be $150. So listen, you know, this is not a cheap hobby. If you own one of these cars, then you know it is so worth it, the amount of money you might have to put into these things. And once you get them sorted, I do think they're pretty bulletproof. You know, I'm just ready to get there with this car. So I hope you've gotten something out of this video today. Again, I urge you to subscribe to my channel. I do videos like this. I cover events and drives and pretty much anything that my Porsches throw at me. I really appreciate you checking out my videos. We're working hard on this channel. Please give me a thumbs up, subscribe, comment. Happy to answer any questions. Thanks again for watching, and I hope to see you next time.